So let's talk a little bit about this one class of stock requirement. This is something I think that is more of a problem than people sometimes realize in making an S election, specifically with LLCs that make the S election, because the LLC operating agreement could very easily have provisions that would create or be deemed to create more than one class of stock as defined by the regulations. So it's really important before you make the S corporation decision or election, review the corporate charter, the articles of incorporation, the LLC, operating agreement. Binding agreements between the owners could also cause a problem here. So the regulations state that a corporation is treated as having only one class of stock if all shares confer identical rights to distribution and liquidation proceeds. That is the most important piece, distribution and liquidation. So one of the biggest, what is a planning opportunity is that differences in voting rights are disregarded. You can have voting and non-voting S corporation stock and not violate this one class of stock requirement. Also, if for some reason there are timing differences in distributions, and as long as it's not because of a binding agreement or requirement, that also may not create a second class of stock. So, for example, if accidentally in one tax year, one shareholder takes a little bit more than another shareholder, and you do a corrective distribution in January, that's not necessarily going to violate the one class of stock rule. So again, it's not as absolute as you may think it is. So our first example, Yuri, a U.S. citizen, is the sole owner of King Cakes LLC, a disregarded entity. The entity meets all S corporation eligibility requirements. Yuri will file Form 2553 with the IRS to both make a corporation election for the LLC and then an S election for the corporation, both done on one form.